Hey, I'm Lashana, and this is Good News Only, the show where we discuss the stories that uplift, inspire, and bring us all together. Every weekday morning at 10:30 a.m., we are recapping the good news only, the feel-good headlines, the local and community wins that bring a little more light to your day. And I want to hear from you too. So if something good is happening in your world, a personal victory, a community success, a birthday, or just something that made you smile, email me at news25@wek.com and be sure to put Hey Shauna, that's SHAUNA, in the subject line so I know it's for me. I would love to share your good news right here on the show. Now, today's show is full of good news. We are talking with someone who is carving out a unique voice in the space of podcasting. Mr. Ray Watson III joins us today. Please welcome him to the show.
How you doing?
Welcome. Welcome. I'm excited for this conversation today.
I am too. I am too.
So tell everybody, you host Hood Adjacent Podcast.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So Hood Adjacent Podcast originally just started as kind of like an idea.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been in media, doing like audio production, video productions, things like that.
Okay.
And I just decided just one day that because I've done podcasts for other people and podcasting groups and stuff like that. So one day I just decided like, hey, I need to like get myself and get my brand out there and appeal to people that are similar to me, hence the name Hood Adjacent. Because
Tell us about that.
so with the name Hood Adjacent, I picked that name just because of my upbringing.
Okay.
So half my life I lived in the south suburbs of Chicago, and half my life I've lived up here in Peoria, Illinois. So
Okay.
yeah, my teenage years and preteen teenage years was up here.
Okay.
So I've always lived like not in like quote unquote the hood or the projects or anything like that, but I lived close enough to it that like it affected my life and I was like a part of certain things. So like this podcast is for people that kind of grew up like me. Like they didn't let their they didn't let their background or they didn't let their environment define themselves. It like this podcast, and I say it all the time on there. It's for people that that want to break boundaries and generational curses, because a lot of people they're stuck kind of in this like hamster wheel of the cycle over and over again. This is my podcast is for people that try to break that generational cycle, generational curse, because everybody, you know what I mean. Everybody is different.
Yeah.
So not everybody fits in one mold. So I'm trying to appeal to like I would say the average person. Like they're not super rich, they're not anything like that, but they're also not super poor. Like somewhere in the middle where the majority of
people fall.
Right.
So what kind of topics do you all discuss? You mentioned people who are generational curse breakers, so to speak. What kind of topics do you discuss?
With the topics that I pick, I usually it's usually 4 different topics. So the first one is always start off with something positive or a positive message, because with a lot of media and stuff like that, you don't really get a positive message. That's why I'm glad that I'm on Good News Only. I love the name, by the way.
Thank you.
Because and people don't really get like a positive message out of the media that they give. So I always try and put something into my podcast that gives a positive message or gives words of encouragement and things like that. After that, I do, typical guy stuff, sports and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I also one big one that I do is music.
Okay.
Yeah. So with my podcast, and if you watch the podcast, I try and put on and bring a lot of like local artists into the mix. I either debut their music on the podcast or I just have them on the podcast in general just to talk and just to chop it up and things like that. And the last thing is usually the funniest one, which is the pop culture stuff, because sometimes I go on a tangent. I'm not gonna lie, but but it's it's one of those things where we talk about pop culture, we talk about and talk about what's going on in the world and things like that.
Yeah.
Something like things that appeal to, the
Yeah,
audience that I'm trying to
yeah.
get towards.
Yeah.
So,
We'll talk more about that after the break.
all right.
We'll be right back.
Xander Martin and Leon. I'm just about done with it.
Editing.
Yep, I'm done. I'm just about done with it. I just got to put it out this
Yeah.
weekend.
Okay, so we are coming back from break. Welcome back to Good News Only. So we are still here with Mr. Ray Watson III. So during the commercial break, we were talking about a specific interview you may have done that was particularly insightful. You mentioned one you did this weekend?
Yeah, yeah. I was actually fortunate enough to be able to interview the co-founder of FUBU, For Us By Us.
Okay.
And if you grew up in the 90s, 2000s, you know what
that
FUBU
is.
is.
What that is, yeah.
And his name is J. Alexander Martin, and it was a amazing interview. This was in collaboration with Peoria Fashion Week that just happened last week. And oh man, he was so the gems that he was dropping was so insightful. Like when we first started interviewing, not gonna lie, I was nervous.
Yeah.
I was very nervous, but it was a great interview.
What made you nervous?
Honestly, the two people that were up there, like, well, one, it was live we had a small group of people watching,
And that is a different kind of thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was a small group of people watching and the heavy hitters that were on the podcast. So not only was it J. Alexander Martin, but it was one of the heads of this station, WEK, Leon Hendricks,
Yeah.
and it was. I was like, wow, I got two big like
Yeah.
I got two big like heavy hitters on my pod. Like I didn't think that I was that like it was ever gonna get to this point.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? So
How does that feel? Like, how does it feel? I know you probably have loftier goals, right? That was a big accomplishment, and I'm sure it felt great, but in so many words. But how did that feel to be there in that space and you be, chosen for that moment? Whether no matter how you got there, you got there. Like that was an appointed place and time. How did that feel?
it at first I was just like, me, this guy, I'm the y'all want me to do this, but yeah, like it was surreal because like I think everybody can attest to this. Everybody's had this type of feeling where like, wow, like I feel like I'm down here and everything else is like everything is up here. Like, am I supposed to be in
right
this,
here
in this area? But it was like surreal, and it was I would say one of the best feelings that I've had, honestly.
How will you carry that experience and that feeling, those realizations into the next level of your podcasting?
Well, I look at this as because a lot of people would look at it as like, oh, this is like the peak. But for me, it's just like I've accomplished this goal, and I have to set another
Yeah.
goal for myself.
Yeah.
Like just constantly climbing
Yeah.
because like for me, with the podcast, it's not just about anything monetary or anything like that. For me, it's more reaching people that are like me, either older or younger. So, like that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah. So, what do you hope to accomplish once in reaching those people? Like, what are you trying to say in your podcast and the content you put out?
First, relate to them, relate to the people that I'm talking to, and second, make sure that they get something positive out of the stuff that I say. I'm not gonna be one of them people that are. I'm not one of them people that are like, oh, like what I say is absolute gold and it's perfect. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Not at all. So I try to like give my insight to at least the young, like at least with the younger generation.
Yeah.
Because looking at my like algorithms, it's a lot of people that are listening are like 20s, in the 20s, and 20-year-old like males. So like being able to pour something positive into them is for me that's one of my main goals, to try
Yeah.
and get them, try and give them little gems and things like that to take so they can make their lives a little bit better. You know what I mean?
I will say that's something I enjoy about the rise of the podcast, if you will. It's just that you have more shows that are geared toward men.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that, even whether no matter the race, but definitely African American men.
Oh
There's
yeah,
just-
for sure.
There was just nothing on TV before like what we're seeing in podcasting and the diversity that
Yeah.
podcasting offers, in backgrounds and stuff like that. So speaking of backgrounds, you mentioned where you grew up and
Yeah.
how it affected you. How has those things that have affected you in your upbringing, how have you been able to channel them into your podcast? How does that inform your podcasting?
So for me, how I grew up is the whole reason why I picked the name Hood Adjacent, because I was born and raised in the south suburbs of Chicago. I was from birth all the way up to like preteen. So my adolescence, it was all in that area. So, and it wasn't, I wouldn't call it the worst area, but it wasn't a great area where I was living. You know what I mean?
Are you talking about Harvey? Did you just say Harvey was not a good place to live?
No, I said it wasn't. I said it wasn't the worst. It wasn't the worst. It was. I love Harvey.
So just in case I interrupt you.
He always does.
So right. So this is my
Nothing
whole
new.
way.
Nothing new.
Don't disrespect Harvey.
Oh no, definitely not. Oh no, absolutely not. But yeah, that kind of molded my upbringing, along with along with like having family in that Chicago area, specifically the South Side area.
So, do the topics that you discuss generally relate to those personal experiences?
Oh,
You say
yeah.
changed you
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
affected you? I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Because one of the things that I try and keep in my mind is like somebody's gonna get something out of this. Like I don't want to be one of those podcasters that like gives people like either wrong information or bad advice. We already have a lot of
Enough
that.
of that.
Yeah, we have a lot of that going on already, especially in like the male category of podcasts. So I want to give for me is giving an alternate like a alternative
Yeah.
to some of the stuff that they're already getting. I want to like kind of I want to show people that like you don't have to do the most. You don't have to be this big, oh, I'm macho. You don't have to be that. You can be yourself. Being yourself is the best thing that you can possibly be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
you mentioned your demographic, and I a few minutes ago, and I have a couple questions about that, but we'll get to that after this break. More good news only after the break.
All right, Frank.
all right.
Okay. All right, 11 seconds.
All right.
Our mics are hot. And we're back. Welcome back to more Good News Only. So before the break, you were saying, we were talking a little bit about your demographic. And so I was just wondering, what has been, if you know it all, what has been some of the feedback you've gotten from your viewers?
I honestly like listening to my viewers. They like the podcast. They a lot of them like love the podcast, and it's coming from people that I wouldn't even think would listen
Wow.
to the podcast, and all from some of the high schoolers that I teach. I'm also a substitute teacher, trying to be a teacher, like a
Yes.
full-time teacher. So I hear it from the students all the way up to older older men, and I'm like,
Wow.
y'all, like, you guys listen to my podcast? And I think one of the best things about it too is, like, with my podcast, it's not just a certain racial demographic either, because I've gotten, and I laugh about it all the time. There was a guy, and I want to say he was from either Tremont or Pekin. I don't remember, but he was like, "Oh yeah, I watch your podcast." I was like, "What?" Like, but he said, "Yeah, it's insightful,"
Wow.
and that's what I try and do. I try and, like, not only be insightful to my demographic, but also bridge a gap. There's so much division in this world.
Yeah.
So much, and I want to try and bridge the gap between the division. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Do you feel pressure in trying to do that and still cater to the original demographic you had in mind?
Actually, no.
No. Okay.
No, because I try, like, for me, I've learned, I learned recently, being myself is what attracts people to it.
Yes.
I feel like I don't necessarily need to, like, change anything about how I view certain things.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where, like, I'm still mindful about the people that listen.
Yeah.
But I also try and be myself to show people that it's okay, to just be you.
Yeah.
Because I'm not, and I tell people, I say it all the time. I'm not anybody in the streets. I'm not anybody. I'm not rich, or I'm not anything like that. I'm just a regular person.
Yes.
And I think that's what the appeal is, because I try to be as regular as I can be.
Yeah. I think that's something like is a little bit of a learning curve, I think, for anybody, especially people who are just trying to get started in something like this. It just being yourself really is the thing. Like, that really is the catch. But it's so difficult because sometimes I think we have to have all of this stuff in order about ourselves.
Yeah.
And about our lives and personalities and skills, that it kind of stops us from doing things.
Yeah, and that just brings pressure, honestly.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And then when you for me, I don't know if it was the best way for you, but for me, the light bulb moment was kind of like when I just said, hey, Leon didn't want me to say y'all when we first started this. I'm from Kentucky.
Okay.
So I was just talking, and I just said y'all one day. He was like, I don't like y'all. And it stayed in my, it's still in my head, but it stayed in my head. And I was just like, well, if I can't say y'all, then I can't do y'all like stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can't say y'all like stuff. I can't say anything that kind of falls into the culture of y'all. Like, why I would say y'all. And then finally, I was like, hey, I'm just going to have to talk, because otherwise I'm going to censor myself too much. I'm not comfortable being that person, that doesn't say y'all from time to time. I can't just think be.
And it's just being yourself.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's all it is. It's just being yourself. Because I'm kind of the same way, only backwards. Because, like, a lot of my friends, a lot of my friends, a lot of people that I grew up with, they have, like, a little bit of a, like, slang, little twang in their voice. And they're like, you talk kind of proper. And I was like, I just talk regular. I don't. I don't.
Like me.
Yeah. So it's just it's one of those things where if you be yourself, somebody's going to relate to that. Somebody is always going to relate. And somebody's going to relate to you just being yourself.
Yeah.
And that, and in turn, that helps other people be themselves. You know what I mean? They shouldn't be ashamed of being themselves. They shouldn't be
Yeah.
ashamed of that at all. You know.
So, what's the biggest thing you've learned from hosting this podcast?
The biggest thing that I've learned, and you can, and a lot of people can take away from this, and I hope people take away from this. Honestly, it is collaboration over competition. A lot of people, and I can attest to this, living in Peoria for a long time. A lot of people look,
and I know.
Yeah, a lot of people look at each other as competition.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be like that. It should be collaboration. If you watch my podcast, you would see that I bring other podcasters along with me. I'm on other people's podcasts, and it's not just to just show myself. It's one, to show support, and two, show them that it's better if we collaborate versus being in competition with each other.
Yes.
Like you see it enough in the city. You see it enough in the city that people just compete. Like, I want to be the best this and be the best that. No, like, we have to. If we collaborate, we would be a not much better community, much better city, and much better world.
Yeah.
So it's always collaboration over competition.
And the way I always look at it is, I feel like for me, just being myself an audience member, right? I want to see my favorite people together, how they would interact together. Like, that's a fun thing. If I really like this person and I really like that person, when they come together, for me, that's a treat. That's a time.
Yeah, it's like when a rapper gets a remix with a singer.
Yes,
like, you would like, everybody loves that. Like,
yes, it makes sense. It's fun. It's it's everything, the best of all the worlds. So I really love that you said that. I was thinking, I think it was yesterday, I was just thinking about competition. I hate competition. I hate it. I hate it. And I know in some ways it can be good, but it's just not for me. I'm the kind of person that as soon as I feel like there's a competition, I drop out. I'm like, and go do my own thing. Now, I didn't say I quit. I'm not over here. Like, I'm just not doing it because it's useless in the grander scheme, of things, especially when we're talking about building community and people. So I wanted to ask, what have you learned about you? And just starting this endeavor, you were working on other people's podcasts and helping them along, and now you are the face at the forefront of your own. What have you learned about yourself through this journey up until this point?
The one thing that I've learned about myself is sometimes I need to make time for my goals. I'm one of those people that, and I sometimes I still do it to this day. I put other people's goals and aspirations and dreams ahead of my own. Like, help them out, get them to a certain level that I would want to get into, but I'm like, oh no, it's fine. They're getting to that level. And I work so hard, I never carve out time for myself. You know what I mean? So that's one of the biggest things that I'm learning. Like, when that balance of working with others and then working on my own thing, because it's like, when I start working on my own thing, it starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Like, I have a audio production studio. I have a media company.
Okay.
And we also have a family like marketing, t-shirt and branding business too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, G's Creative Creations. And I realized, like, oh man, I need to start focusing down on my own goals, because if I start doing well and then I start making it and things like that, I can bring other people in, and other people can eat along with me.
Yeah, it's kind of like you got to save yourself first if the plane is going down.
Yeah.
Because you can't save nobody else until you save yourself.
Yeah, exactly. That's like on a plane, if the mask drops down, they always ask you to put the mask on first, and then put the mask on your on
Yeah.
the person next, like, or your child next to
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
So-
that's something. Like even your
Yeah,
child.
yeah.
It's like saved you. I remember first hearing that and I was like, what? Not my baby.
you. Yeah.
But it, but it makes so much sense, and I think we forget that in the grander scheme of things in life.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you for saying that. And then, what would you say to anybody else who is just like you, who came from where you came from? Maybe they came from worse, or maybe they came from a more advantaged situation, who is looking to do the things that you have done in entrepreneurship, in media, and just in self-development.
My biggest advice for them is just start it. That honestly is just started. There is a quote from, I believe it's Prince. I'm kind of paraphrasing it a little bit. He said the some of his best music is the music that he put out. Meaning,
On his own.
yep, meaning that, like, if you just have the idea and you don't put it out, you'll never know how big it can get.
Yeah.
The the overall best music is the one that you put out.
That he put
So
out.
the best product
that's a
is the
thought.
one that you
Actually
actually
execute.
put out and execute.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Thank you for that. Now, where can everybody find you?
You can actually find me on all social media platforms.
Okay.
So in my Hood Adjacent podcast, people know my tag, RAYMOND, but you can call me Ray, the number 3 Beats, Ray 3 Beats.
Okay.
On all social media platforms. If you can't find me on social media, you can Google my name,
Okay.
all one word, Ray 3 Beats, and also the Hood Adjacent podcast is on all on all streaming platforms.
Okay.
Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, YouTube. You can, all you gotta do is just Google Hood Adjacent Podcast and Ray 3 Beats, and everything will
It'll
pop up.
pop up.
Yeah.
Well, Ray Watson, thank you so much for joining us
Yeah,
today.
no problem. This was fun. I love this.
Please feel free to come back anytime.
Yeah.
I'm sure the audience would love to have you. Anytime you want to talk about something, share something new, you want your good news out there, give us a email or send me a message on Facebook. But absolutely come in and talk. We would love to have
Absolutely. I love this. This was amazing. I'm
you. Thank you so
seeing
much.
all of this. I'm like, wow.
It's a thing.
yeah.
It's a thing. Well, that's a wrap for me today. Now I want to hear from you. Please go to news25@week.com and let me know what you thought about today's show. In the meantime, be sure to check out all of the evening newscasts and meet me back here tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. I'm Lashana Guy for 25 News. Have a wonderful day.